Hello, and welcome everybody. Welcome to Heart of a Hobbit here on the official Lotro Stream Team Twitch channel. I am your host, Little Redhead, and I will be taking you around part of the world of Middle Earth. Middle Earth is kind of big, so I'm not taking you around everywhere, just a specific portion of it, wherever we like to enjoy for that particular week. And this week it is the Midsummer Festival that is happening in Minas Tirith. So the cool thing is, so we're on Treebeard, and Treebeard is one of the legendary servers, and our world is open up through Moria. So we're getting into Mirkwood actually tomorrow, it releases. But right now, Moria is the furthest we have gotten on this server. So, excuse me, we are able to, though, get to Minas Tirith using Stable Masters or the map that you get when you arrive. And it's like, hey, there's a festival going on, have a map. And sometimes a token, you know, that kind of thing. So that's how we are able to get here. The far-ranging Stable Masters, though, will have a ticket here from, it'll say Minas Tirith, I think after the war, Midsummer, or something like that. So that's the one way that you can get here. Now, what I have done is, now that I'm here, there's a milestone over there, and I bound my character, one of her milestones, to this location. Hi. We have a cat in the house. We have two cats in the house, so one of the cats is saying hello. She's over by the stairs. Anyway, so I bound my character to the milestone, so that way I don't have to keep paying to come back. And also, I find that really useful when I'm going through and doing the festival. So you'll notice I'm looking a little tall here, those of you who are regulars to the show. Usually I run around on my Hobbit, Rosenbleume, but today we will be enjoying the company of my High Elf, Arthaliel. So also the children next door are having one of their daily wailing sessions, so if it gets too loud, let me know. We can pull the door closed a little bit. It's a beautiful day though. So we got the back door open and it's lovely. Yes, thank you dogs. In the chat, Minas Tirith, parentheses, Midsummer. That's what you're looking for if you want to get here from a far-ranging Stable Master. Also, speaking of parentheses and the like, somewhere on the screen near the bottom should be kind of a little bracket or a box rectangle with the CC in it for closed captions, and I do have closed captions running. So it's trying to pick up live what I have to say. It can be a little hit and miss, but it's a good start. So if you would like to have those closed captions running in front of you while the show is going, so that way if you have any trouble hearing what I'm saying or understanding or anything like that, that should be on your able to be on your screen if you want as well. Okay, oh sweet, and we're not hearing children in my audio, I only hear them alone. That's fine, that's totally fine. Okay, so Midsummer Festival. We are here in the gorgeous location of Minas Tirith. It is huge. So like there's the entrance over there, and it's been all decorated up because it's after the war and it's midsummer. So we are enjoying a festival, and the festival is also to commemorate the wedding of Aragorn and Arthaliel, that's my name. The Evening Star. You know who I'm talking about. Arwen, thank you. Oh my gosh, my brain stopped. Okay, so like any festival in Lotro, we have a quest giver who will be like, hey, welcome to the festival. You should go do X number of things and then come back to me and I'll give you some festival tokens. And then when you go and do those things, they also will give you festival tokens. So it's a way to kind of double dip in a way. So we are going to talk to Phalith here, and she is our festival quest giver. And she will give us a quest called In Celebration of Midsummer. And she says, whether you join in the revelry here in Minas Tirith or in far off lands, it is certain you will find yourself among merry company. We only ask that you celebrate in the spirit of midsummer. So participate in 10 of the midsummer activities. So we're going to go ahead and accept that. Now, the reason I kind of emphasized a few of those things that I said, because so usually the festivals will have some things you can do in the outlying areas. So there's usually something for each of the 4 starter races, the hobbits, the elves, the dwarves and the humans. So that's generally the Shire for the hobbits, and usually you have something around Celondim or Duland or both for the elves. Usually stuff up by Thorn's Hall, Thorn's Gate for the dwarves, or for the elves, for the dwarves. And then for the humans, it's usually in Bree Land, Bree Town, somewhere in that area. So if you go and do those, they do count for Midsummer, which is kind of neat. So I was like, sweet. Okay, but I've got my wrapper from her. Now we're gonna ignore our city stables guy here for a minute because I know there's a quest down here to do, and that's inside the city stables. So we're gonna pop in there and we're gonna pick up a quest inside. Now I'm on my character Arthaliel here for a couple of reasons. I'll tell you here in a second. Okay, so we're gonna go talk to Laborus. And we're going to aid the stable hands. So she's asking if we have some time. There are horses that need to be groomed and some good horses that need to be rewarded with apples. So behind us is the door that we just came in, and then we've talked to her and she's right there. And then we're gonna go straight to the back because you see, this is the stables that we're in, and we're kind of in the middle section. And what we want to do is we want to get to the back, and there's some stairs right here. At the top of those stairs is the boxes we need to open to get the grooming brush and the apples for the horses. Now we could go over and then go across, or we could go down and go across. So basically there's 3 corridors that we can take. You can take the center aisle or the side aisles and head down. So you've got options there. I haven't ridden a plane recently, but I have been in a plane a number of times, if you hadn't noticed. Okay, so we got to the back, and so see those stairs? That's where we want to go. So we're gonna go up these stairs, and now we have the crate with grooming equipment. And we just need to pop into that thing once. And we found a grooming brush, and then we're gonna pop into this crate of apples. And we have collected some apples. So there's 6 horses that we're gonna go interact with. 3 for each. We're gonna groom 3 and we're gonna feed 3. So we're gonna go back down the stairs, but we're gonna go down this first aisle. So not the center one yet. This is the way I do it. I kind of make a little bit of like a arrested H a little bit. So here's a well-behaved horse who deserves an apple. Have an apple, sweet. And then we're gonna go a little bit further, and we're gonna go past this opening here, just a little bit further, because here is a disheveled horse. And we're going to take care of him and make him all fancied up again. All right, so now we're gonna back up and go back to that gap that we saw. And we're gonna cut through. And now we're in that center area that we ran down when we were going to the back. And there is a well-behaved horse standing in the flowers. Look how well he's doing. I'm gonna give him an apple, yes we will. And then we're gonna run to the back again, but instead of going to the stairs, because we've already collected all the stuff, we're going the other way. And over here, we've got another horse that needs to be groomed. So we're taking care of that guy. Nice, good job. And we've got a well-behaved horse over here. All right, good job, horse, being well-behaved. And then we've got one more down by the end. Not quite to the end, but kind of getting close to it. Oops. I'm gonna fix him up. And we're done. So now we gotta go turn that quest in, and that will be 1 out of the 10 that we want to do. And I'm gonna go ahead and finish that off. So now, yes, we have participate in Celebration of Midsummer. We have 1 out of 10. Ta-da, we're done. So now let's see, what else we got here? We got a couple of things popped up. I'm just gonna clear this out here. So let's see what we got first. Oh yeah, so the reason I'm on her is because, first of all, each character collects their own Midsummer Festival tokens. And my main character, Rosenbleume, was getting a little close on cap. And I don't necessarily have a lot of things I needed to buy yet. Well, I bought almost everything. And so I decided to go ahead and work on this character. Rosenbleume has gotten every deed for the festival, for the Midsummer Festival, except for the Flickering Flame, which is the fireflies. So she still needs to go and do that. So I'm popping in with her and just doing that from time to time. But the other thing is some of these are giving like legendary item experience. And so I'm still working on the legendary item reward track for the 2nd season. And Arthaliel is my level 45 character. So basically, as you are earning legendary item experience, so for those of you who are kind of new to the legendary item thing, when you get to level 45, 50-ish, and you head off to Moria, because the dwarves are like, hey, stuff's happening. Once you go through the intro of getting into Moria, they will give you a legendary item, and then they'll give you a second one, actually. So you end up with 2 legendary items. And the way it used to be is that you earned not just character experience, but there was also legendary item experience. And you would earn legendary item experience, and your legendary item would grow in its experience, and that would affect like the things that it could do, like how strong it was and things like that. It would add to its stats. They've redone legendary items because the legendary item would only grow so far, and then there was this whole other thing where you'd enhance things and stuff. But then basically it would get to a point where that was like as good as it gets, and then there'd be better legendary items. So you would take that one that you'd spent time working on, and you'd be like, chuck it in the fire. I'm gonna use this one now. And you know, from a lore perspective, that seems a bit weird to be just like throwing away legendary items left and right. And then also it didn't really fit that. It was a little janky, and I think they've been wanting to fix it for a while. So they finally did that about, I don't know, 8-9 months ago now, I think. Where basically you have a legendary item. Sorry, on my character. And it has its own stats. So let's see, shift, double click. Yep. So here's my legendary item panel for this particular item. And there's 4 different, oh, how funny. Okay, so I can show you what it looks like when you don't have everything in there. There should be 4 different slots that you can fill. I wonder if it's acting weird. There should be, oh, but you know, she's level 45. Maybe I only have 3 slots at level 45. So you have Word of Mastery. So they have different kind of categories. Word of Mastery, Word of Craft. Let me look at her other item. Let's take a look at you. Yeah, this one looks more correct. Okay, here we go. So we've got your Heraldic Tracery. That's one type of thing that you can put on your item. There's Word of Mastery. That's type number 2. There's a second Word of Mastery slot. We have Word of Craft. That's a 3rd type of slot. And then there's another one at the bottom that I'm thinking I don't have access to yet because my character's slow enough. So anyway, instead of legendary item experience going to these items, they level up. They don't level themselves. The slot that they're sitting in can level up. So you see that this is level 51 out of 52. So I could enhance this slot a little bit more, and it would make the stats on this weapon, on this item that I put into there, a little bit better. So it's like a little more beefier spot. But if I take out this Heraldry of the Sparrow and I replace it with a Heraldry of the Owl, I just take that out and put it in a new one, but the slot retains the enhancement that I had done to it already. It retains that extra level bonuses that I've already given to it. So whatever I put in there is going to inherently be stronger than it is just straight off the shelf. So that's a kind of a cool thing, and I like the way they've done that. So then there's that whole thing about, well, what happens to all that legendary item experience that you used to gain? What do we do with that now? Well, they opened a reward track. And I think this is something else they had been talking about and thinking about doing, because you see this in some other games as well. An experience track of some sort. So that's what they're doing with this. So every time you can earn legendary item experience, it adds to this track, and the track goes up to level 100. And if you get past that, then like level 101 is just a repeatable where you can earn, in this case, a Coffer of Ancient Script, which is the currency you can use to go buy very specific runes that you might want to put on your, traceries that you might want to put onto your legendary item. This track normally gives you that currency. It gives you enhancement runes, which allows you to up the level of that slot. They give you traceries, which are the things you put in the slot. So that's normally what you get, the sorts of things that they've had on this reward track. This time though, this is season 2. So they've ran this once for 3 months, and that's what we got. And then now the second time through, it's basically the same thing, except at level 25, I got a banner of Gilgalad. So that was cool. It's a housing item. At level 50, I will get a Tome of Dance Hobbit 3. Now, you just get the one, so I'm going to have to pick which character it's going to go on. No spoiler, it's going to go on Rosenbleume. Let's see, at level 75, you get a cosmetic item, which is the Azog Sword. And then at level 100, if you make it that far, you get a cosmetic pet, the Mountaineering Donkey. So that's really cute. So that's where that legendary item experience is going. So if you are earning legendary item experience, it's ideal to earn it on a lower level character, because that lower level character will take more of it than, I'm just checking to see if I can show you one, but I don't have one. It will earn more. It's just like any other experience. So think about when you were earning experience at level 5, like your experience bar went really fast, like taking out like, I don't know, 3 sickle flies, and it was just like boom, 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 and you've leveled up, right? Whereas when you're level 25, taking out 3 sickle flies, it's like on your experience bar, which is like this long, right? It's the same thing with the legendary item experience. Level 45 character earns legendary item experience and it goes whoop, whereas a level 60 character earning it goes whoop. So I'm trying to do it all in my level 45 character. The other thing is sometimes I'm completing deeds in here, and I didn't want to be getting that deed completion on my main character because she doesn't have, like, she's maxed out all of her virtues. So anything where I can like get virtue experience, I want to do it on a character that hasn't maxed out all of their virtues. So for example, this character, yeah, literally all of this is like level 30, which is the max you can do on the server right now on Rosenbleume. So I'm like, cool, we'll use Arthaliel for some of this. So she's the one that I'm running through the festival this time. Oh, thanks, B4. So yeah, in the chat, you can see a visual comparison between a level 45 character and a level 60 character using basically the same rune and how far it gets on their legendary item experience bar. Okay, so that was a long conversation there, but I just wanted to make sure because it's a little bit confusing still to people, and I have a handle on it, and so I want to be able to share that knowledge because when it doesn't make sense, it can just be like really confusing. Okay, I also finished. So when you are doing festival, back to festivals, when you're doing a festival, you usually have like the one daily wrapper, right? Do 10 things, blah, blah, blah. But she also has for me a, and that's the wrapper there, the celebration of Midsummer. But the fondness for festivity, complete celebration of Midsummer. Okay, let's see, what is celebration of Midsummer? Oh, okay, so every time I complete, right, the 10 quests, complete that quest to go do 10 quests. I advanced this, the fondness for festivity. Once I finish that, which is only after 3 days, I get a bunch of figments of splendor. I get a reclamation scroll. I'm not sure what to do with that. Crafting ingredient, and I get 1,000 virtue experience. So if any one of my characters is going to be getting virtue experience, it should go to a character that can actually use that virtue experience, whereas my main character cannot. So that is another reason to go with a character who is not maxed out in that stuff. Okay, so I've done the city stables, right? We did that quest. So I need to go to the tippy top because there's a whole bunch of quests up there, and I want to pick those up and then go around Minas Tirith and complete them. All right, so I'm trying to click on my screen where I think my dismount button is. It's somewhere in this area. Because if I click it while I'm on the loading screen, it'll go ahead and dismount me as soon as I resolve. So that's kind of cool. I like that. Yeah, mine is not in the bottom right. Before did his in the bottom right. But see, I found it. I'm not on a horse. Look at me, I'm not standing on a horse. All right. So we're gonna go up the ramp. So the high stables, when you show up, it's gonna take you under the prow of Minas Tirith. And so, because you know how Minas Tirith is like this big defensible city, you know, made out of all this rock and jutting out from the rocks behind it, from the mountains basically. And from here they have this giant, here we'll go back, we'll go stand on top of it. So they have this giant prow sticking out straight into, you know, everything. And so you've got like this kind of round city, but it's not round because it's up against the mountains. Okay, so we have this half, 3/4 circle city, and then we have this big thing coming out the middle, right? To get through that big thing coming out the middle, they've carved into each layer. So there's times when you're riding around, you find that you're in this kind of tunnel as you're going around in Minas Tirith. So it's kind of cool, actually. So when I take a ride to the high stables, it wants to take me to the other side of this, but I know that's not where I want to be. I want to be over here because I need to then go up this thing that lets me go up and up and up and up and up and come out here on top, like a cherry. All right, so we're gonna go back down these fancy stairs, but oh yeah, see there's some of the mountain that you can see that Minas Tirith is carved into. I mean, what an ambitious thing to do, right? Like, that's crazy. What is that up there? I've got it on low graphics right now, so I don't tax my computer so much, but I'm curious, what's that up there? Okay, anyway. I don't think I can get to it, whatever it is, but it's pretty cool. All right, so we are gonna come back down. So this is where we came out of the ziggity zaggity come back up thing. The Midsummer Wedding Planner is this lady right here, Merlian. And she has for us a handful of things. She had more, but I've already picked up some of them and stuff. So I'll come back to that in a second. So wedding supplies, we're gonna pick that up from her. And there are wedding supply crates around, does it say, the 3rd circle. So when we're down there, we wanna pick up some crates and then bring those back to her. And then she has To the Last Drop, which is, find the correct wine for the wedding planner. So you find the correct wine, and then you take the barrel that is the correct barrel to match that wine. It'll light up for you, don't have to worry about it. And then she has the lightning in a bottle. But I have already finished that quest with this character, so I'm not gonna pick that up. And that is the quest that is under your class race epic. You want to go to Race and Social, which is the 2nd tab over, and it's called Flickering Flame with an F, bunch of F's. Flickering Flame. Now, originally it was you had to do each of these 4 things twice. So you had to go complete the Ruby, Firefly, Lanterns quest twice, Amethyst, Firefly, Lanterns twice, etc. So with the Rubies, Amethyst, Emeralds, and Sapphires, you had to do each one twice. They at some point, if I recall correctly, reduced that to once each. But if your character had already started it, you have to finish it on the 2 times each. So I did it with the character on 2 times each here. And Rosenbleume is also doing the 2 times each. So it's kind of funny. But if you do finish it, though, you get this title, Flickering Flame. So that's pretty cute. And you also get a Midsummer token. That's not bad. All right. So I don't need to do that with this character, and so I'm not going to pick it up. And then standing next to her here is the Midsummer Barter Matron, and she has all the goodies. So when the festival first started 2 years ago, they had so many things in here. Like, I don't know if you can see, but it says there is 7 pages of stuff here. And I think it started at 7 pages. Like, it was already 7 pages, 6 or 7 pages when it started 2 years ago. Like, so much stuff. It's amazing. And some great cosmetics. So let's see, for example, this is the dress of the entwining blossoms. That might be from last year. We've got, yeah, I think the entwining blossoms was last year. There's the tunic version. And then they've got a really cool cape. But then, okay, so then initially though, the Bridal Veil, which is this like kind of lacy looking thing, and the groom's boots, let's put those on. Those are cool. Groom's bracers, myrtle circlet. Dress her up like Aragorn. Groom's tunic. So this is based on a lot of, well, not the veil, but Aragorn's look. And then we've got the bride's dress, which does dye. I've done it with green and it looks a little weird, but it's actually kind of, I don't know, it's kind of cool too. So, there's Galadriel's dress. That one's pretty. Here's Arwen's dinner dress, which is fantastic. It has like a gradient. So it starts off with the lighter version of the color and then it goes down to a darker version of the color and it maintains that when you dye it. So good. So they came out with a ton of fantastic housing items and outfits, cosmetic items, some emotes, some fireworks, 4 steeds that are representative of the 4 different areas around here. So the Blackroot steed, the Lamadon steed, the Lebanon steed, and the Losarnach steed. So you've got those 4. And then you've got the festival steed, which is, let's see, there's the steed of the entwining blossoms. I swear there was another one that had like a little flag on it as well. Oh, and then a bunch of cosmetic pets. So huge amount of stuff that you can get at this festival. For this year, they added a little dais that you can stand on. That's a Hobbit-sized one. It's really cute. And a new kite, a Midsummer kite. Let's see, what were the other 2 things? Fireworks, there's another firework, and I think the lantern, there's a housing item lantern that has little purple fireflies in it. I think those are the 4 new items this time. So not a huge amount of new things this year, but in part of it because they just did so many from the beginning. It's pretty crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna run over here. We're gonna talk to this Othnoron, the cook. And he wants us to take some tasty morsels, as the quest is called, tasty morsels down to some of the loftier citizens of the city. And so that would be, I think he tells us like the 4th circle, something like that. So we're gonna run those things down. Or run those people down? No, we won't run the people down. And then where that person just turned, you see over here there is a florist. So we're going to talk to the florist, and she has, she usually has 2 quests for us. It's, I think I've picked up the other one and I'm in the middle of it, maybe. So Floral Crowns, she sent her daughter back down to the 1st circle to gather flowers and was going to weave them into floral crowns. But her daughter's a little distracted, so she's sending us down to see what's the progress on that and see what we can do. Now, one of the things I've been doing with this festival is I'm trying to use my time a little bit better. So I pick up all the quests, but once I get to 10, I stop. And then any other quests that I have that can be turned in, I don't. So that way I can turn them in the next day and kind of make that go a little faster. So we'll run into a little bit of that probably today. Okay, so I need to go back to the bottom and find the florist's daughter. So what I do is I start at the bottom of Minas Tirith. After I've collected the quest, I start at the bottom and then I work my way up. And then I come back up to the top, finish off, turn in stuff, and I'm done. Also, because sometimes there's things that you need that are on multiple different levels. And for me, it just makes sense to, I don't know, for some reason it makes sense to start at the bottom and work my way up. It's the way I figured it out a few years ago, and I haven't stopped doing it that way. Okay, so you'll notice that I just used a milestone and got us down here, which was over there. So great. So now I'm gonna go south on this ground level here, which is also the level of the city stables. If you were ever taking the stable master down here. So I'm looking for the florist's daughter, and she is in this little alcove here, and you can see her ring is on my mini map there. So, oh, she's standing this time. Sometimes she's running around and you gotta catch up with her. All right, she's asked if we've come to play, and we say, hey, you know, your mom has something she wanted done, and she's like, oh no, I forgot all about it. Oh my gosh, can you help me out? Of course we can. So we're gonna go and grab some summer flowers for her. And so they're dotted around here. There's 2 not far from her as you start, right there. And then you want to keep heading south, and you'll start to find little pockets of them. Like there's 2 here. We'll pick these up. And then there's a building here in the way, though. So we're gonna mount up after we pick up those flowers and continue more south past this building, past the carts here, and then we're gonna duck in to the left again and find some more flowers. It does dismount you when you're picking up flowers, so you do have to remount if that's a thing you like to do. I just do it for the further locations, but some people mount up like every 2 seconds. It's really whatever your style is. Now, what's it, last year or the year before? Basically, once I got used to the festival and I knew, I was like, okay, I know what this is. I know what this, like, I know what this quest is doing. I know what this quest is about. Okay, I got it. It was just a matter of remembering, like, do I turn left or turn right? Those sorts of like small details. And so I wrote up a blog post on my website, on my Life Beyond the Shire website. And we're going to be following that here in a few minutes because, it's a kind of a run through of doing all these quests in Minas Tirith, but with more detail on, like, oh, why am I yawning all of a sudden? Goodness. Maybe because it's a beautiful day and we're very busy. Okay, so she should be here. There she is. Took it a second to resolve. No, she's still standing there. Cool. All right, bring the flowers to her. Then she's like, can you put them together for me into crowns? So we're gonna go use our little checkered blanket here. We'll do that. Okay, so now we're done with her. And I want to go up. So let me pull up my listy poo here. And I apologize, this might slow me down a teeny bit. Oh, thanks, Before. So there's a link that Before has put into the chat that is for the Lotro.com created a Midsummer Festival guide, which is great. It's kind of like an overview of all the things that are happening here. And then at the bottom of that, they included links to 4 other sources that have information or guides. And so the link to my guide is on there. So if you ever like, wait, what was that again? You could just go to Lotro.com, look at the bottom of the festival guide, and he's got, Cord has put the information there, which is super handy. So the other links that are on there are Fibro Jedi. Fibro Jedi's guides are amazing. So if you are doing festivals in Lotro and you're not sure where to go, or even if you are and are doing things and you just want like some tips, or if you want to know what's going on, what's new, he includes all of that in his guides. Really awesome. Let's see, the Lotro Wiki is also listed, and the Lotro Wiki is a fan-maintained website. It's a wiki site with, details of all the things, and that includes festivals. And then my site is listed on there. And then this website, Deco de Miu, is listed also, and they are all about the decorations items, the deco, as it were. It's basically a full-on database with pictures of every single housing item in the game. So when you're up at the top and you're like, wow, this is a really cool sounding housing item, I wonder what that looks like, you can go to Deco de Miu and to their website, and you can see pictures where they'll acquire the item and then they'll take pictures of it from a couple different angles so you can see what it looks like kind of in situ. Okay, so now, because we're not wanting to make my festival thinking brain have to work too hard, we have just finished with the daughter. So now I'm going to ride to the soldier's tier. So that is my plan. So let me get to the stable master here. Sorry, my mouse just went a-wandering. Hey, there we go. And I want to go to, what did I just say? Soldier's tier. This is why I have it written down. It'll cost me 1 silver. But the nice thing is that each of these quest completions gives me more than a silver, so it pays for itself. Plus some. Okay, so in this case, I want to go all the way. I'm not going to stop before I get to the stable master. But in a bunch of these, I do stop before I get to the stable master and go back down, because the exit for the down is really close to where I want to be. First, we're going to talk to this Warlock of Rimmen here. And I picked up his quest yesterday and did all the things he asked me to do, but I didn't bother coming back to him. So now I'm here. And he's like, hey, this is great. Cool. You should absolutely read these as you go through, because I think the folks at SSG, have fun coming up with things to say and kind of like having these goofballs or adding some flavor text or adding some lore into the various things. So you should definitely read these through when you are playing. Okay, but holy moly, what is going on? I have finished with all of his stuff, so now we're going to turn this in. So that's my second Midsummer Festival activity completed today. Which means there'll be things that we don't need to bother to do, which is totally fine. Okay, so we've done that. We are now going to go south, or I guess south left on your screen is that way, because we want to go to the Splintered Shield and do a couple things there. And then when we come out of the Splintered Shield, we want to go continue on and do a couple things down at the, just one thing, at the Mumak and Keep. And then we are done on this level. So one thing you may have noticed when we were talking to the stable master is he didn't say anything about first circle, second circle, third circle, none of that. They have no idea what circle they're talking to. They just know the names of the circles. So that's really like crazy cakes. So in my quick guide, I did write down the names of the things, because that's what you need to know when you're talking to the stable master. Okay, so we're inside the Splintered Shield, and there's people dancing, there's a whole bunch of tables for eating and stuff like that. We want to go up these stairs, because there is a guy up here we want to talk to. He's going to give us a quest. We're going to do that quest. So, he's a florist, and he's been out doing stuff, but he's had a few too many drinks, and he's very silly. So he wants us to basically go and please give coins to the musicians and ask them to move along. For some reason, that one says, I guess the chorus needs a bit of work. But some of them are like, how dare you, do you not know my name, or something like that. I'm like, it's not supposed to be insulting. Was it supposed to be insulting? I'm giving you a coin? Maybe because I'm throwing the coin at them. Here we go. Do you have any idea who I am? People come from miles around to see me, and here you are shooing me away. Okay. And what's the one? Let me see. Yeah, it's not that. Okay, we'll see. He said, the first one said, I guess the chorus needs a bit of work. And I'm just running through here, but I can explain where to find these people if you want me to. So definitely pop up in the chat if there's if you want me to kind of describe anything that I'm not describing. I have a tendency to describe what I'm doing when I'm on stream, so I might answer your questions without you even knowing it. Too loud, you say? I guess I need more practice still. Okay, if we were collecting barrels, there's 4 places you go and collect barrels from. This is one of them. That barrel would be right here. Also, little hidden thing, there's a little walkway here, and you can slip back here, and there's this grumpy looking guy. And there's a door, and you go in the door. There's a guy at the top of the stairs. And, it has a particular style of look to it. It's a little rowdy down here with people fighting, perhaps, as a club. You don't have to go up the stairs for the minstrel. You can stand below him. I did forget about that. Sometimes I'm good at that, and sometimes I'm not. Okay, so this is a find what's different pattern kind of thing. Let me see if I can remember which one's different. So there's way I kind of look at this, there's 2 pictures going on here. So we've got, over on this side, we have a set of glasses of wine that are making kind of a V, like a rested V. So that's one picture. And then over here we have kind of like a wobbly W, which makes me think that this is the one that's out of place. So you're looking for the one that's out of place. That's the key to finding the right one. Let's see if that's the right one then. If you don't find it, though, they do give you funny things. Okay, this one was right. The light-bodied tart red tastes of strawberries, violets, and black pepper. Well, the black pepper's kind of gross, but the rest of it sounds good. So that, if you're looking at it from this side, just like constellations is what it reminds me of. But here you've got your pointy thing, and then you've got your little wiggle wiggle. So those are the right ones, or those are the ones that are always on the table, and they're always the incorrect ones. So you want to find the one that's not one of those, and that is the one you're looking for. And now I pick up a barrel of wine. And there we go. So what Egg Arthur's talking about there is back in this room where I went up the stairs that sometimes I fall off of, that the minstrel we're looking for is right there. So you are able to click on them from underneath and it'll do the induction bar and then you're done. So you don't have to go all the way up the stairs. I did forget about that. I'm just so used to going up the stairs. That was a trick you told me about last year. I totally forgot. Okay, so we have, what, 6 minstrels total to find. We've done 4 so far. So we have one over here staring back at the front door where we came in. Let me get a drink. I'll go where my obvious talents are appreciated. I really didn't mean to be like insulting these people. I just was like, hey, would you play somewhere else? And they're like, no, you're insulting me. Or they're like, yes, but you're insulting me. Here we go. Pity, I was just about to sing the ballad of the rotted fruit and the honeybee. I'm waiting for like some of the Lotro players to start making songs with that title. I think that'd be hilarious. All right, so we've done our 6, and we turn it back into him, and he's like, "Blessed silence." But come back tomorrow because he'll have done the same thing. So okay, so we have our 3. So Shooting Starlight says, you just pick randomly and read. Your tune, I know, right? So the bad ones are hilarious. There's things like, this reminds you of the mold in your great aunt's basement cellar, or, things like that. Yeah, so, but that's true. If Egg Arthur says, well, if you want to taste the wrong ones and get those funny things that come up, like there's one that's like something like, this one smells of wet dog. Like, oh. So, but yes, Egg Arthur does point out that if you want to read the wrong ones, it still helps to know which one is the right one so you don't pick it by mistake and end what you're doing. But yeah, I think it's really funny, the little sayings they come up with there. Okay, so we got back out of the Splintered Shield, and we continued along around the thing. Here, let me show you, not that, but let me show you a map. So basically, Minas Tirith is this, like, most of a circle, right? And so sometimes we're going, clockwise around until we run into the wall, basically. And sometimes we're going counterclockwise around. So I kind of consider that south, and I kind of consider that north. But sometimes you're going west or you're going east, even though I consider it north and south. So I sometimes say that. So for me, like, I've gone all the way to the south end where there's no more. Like, this is the last thing you run into. And that is the Mumak and Keep. So we're gonna head in there. This one's probably just vinegar is my favorite, says Shooting Starlights. I know, right? I think they had a lot of fun trying to come up with like nasty things for this wine. Okay, so then we've got this giant Mumak up ahead made out of barrels. It's so cool, right? Like, check that thing out. So if you're doing the barrels, which, let's see, I think it's called What Ails You. You have 4 barrels to collect, as I mentioned before, and this is number 2 if you're doing bottom to top. And I picked this one up the other day, so I just have barrel number 4 actually to get. But if you were coming for it, it's right here. So it's not far from the Mumak made of barrels and pumpkins and stuff. Okay, so from here, we actually want to go back down to the bottom and take the Stable Master. So we're going to use our milestone because I have my cooldown down to 5 minutes, and that is super handy. Weirwillow says that she's now reminded of the first few times I did that quest. I swear I tasted every glass 3 times. They ought to give you status effects when you get it wrong too many times. That would be really funny. It's like after a while, you're like, you are feeling very drunk. That'd be really funny and also super annoying if there was one that if you drank it, it would send you off, kind of like the, like the Moria barrel or, any one of those other ones. The In League or the Ale Association barrel, those ones that where you drink it and then it like 5 minutes later it jets you off somewhere. That'd be pretty funny though, actually. Some people would be really mad. So that would make it less funny. But aside from that, okay, so the next thing, oops, the closed caption said I was being too quiet. Okay. Oh, now that's a cool idea. Egg Arthur says, imagine if it randomly sent you to another Midsummer Quest objective, though. Wake up in stock. Not that, Glass. No, not stock. Archette. Wake up in bloody Archette, far away from everything, where you can't even take a stable master to get out of there. Oh my gosh, that would be like so annoying. Unless you were doing like the hunter class quest stuff that you do at like level 40, then that'd be the one convenient time to go there. All right, so let's see, looking at my my list here. So we did Splintered Shield, we did the Mumakan Keep, we've taken the milestone, and now we want to take the stable master to the craftsman's tier, which is the 3rd tier, but we want to dismount as soon as we resolve. So again, we're going to use Weirwillow's little trick of clicking on the dismount button, which is in this area. Yep, I did it, yes. Because I don't actually want to end up with the stable master at the top. I actually want to go down to the very bottom of this ramp, which is this way. So we're going to go do that. Oh, I keep forgetting to open my Hobbit gift. Hang on. Let me open the Hobbit gift. Okay, silver. What do we get today? I got some basic supplies and 20 virtue XP. I received a gift from Wido Buffin. It is a massive pile of copper scraps. So many of them, it's worth a gold. That's a lot of copper scraps. Okay, so Lebedar here, the gardener, we're going to talk to him. He usually has 2 things going on because we'll have talked to the artist first, and the artist sends us to him to get some art supplies. But he also himself has a quest that he wants us to do called Growing Pains, which is he wants us to go to this really pretty garden that he's been maintaining, because he's maintaining a bunch of gardens. And he's a little overwhelmed. He needs some help. So he wants us to go water some bushes and pull out some weeds. We can totally do that. Not a problem. Shooting Starlight said the Sinister Barrel from the Inn League keeps dropping you off right in front of a ghost. Well, that's kind of cool, though. Okay, so we're going to talk to this worried woman. So we came down that ramp over there. So we came down that ramp over there. And we talked to the gardener that my arrow's still pointing at. But on the other side of all these revelers and food is this worried woman. And the dogs have come and picked up her ring and run off with it. So we have the quest Unhelpful Hounds. So you noticed I clicked on that dog as he came by. Let me get out from behind the lamp. So a trick that somebody taught me last year was that the hound that has the ring will come by this area. I think it was him. So if you just kind of hover behind this giant structure here, the hound will eventually come by here, almost like they're taunting the woman that they took the ring from.
Hello there.
Yes, she says, she says, it sounds silly, but I feel like that dog thinks this is all very funny. So we've finished that for her, and that actually puts us up to 4 completed quests so far for Midsummer stuff. I just love the look of these like little inlets with the, you've got like the soup tureens and some cakes or cookies or something. You've got your little barrel with the ale and stuff. You've got a wine rack, another set of ale stuff. I think that's I love the way they've just set these up. They're so very cozy looking. Makes you just want to hang out, have a drink, talk to people, spend the day. It has that festival camaraderie feel to it, and I think that's really awesome. Okay, so now we've come back up the ramp, though, that we did not finish coming up, because it would have dropped us here by this stable master. Okay, so now we're on the level that has those wedding supply boxes. So here's one that we can pick up. Now, a lot of these boxes, there's multiple copies of it, in a sense, that are paired, they're twinned together. So like that box we just picked up, and it is twinned with this box right here. So if somebody's picked up one of them and you're like right behind them and you're like, dang it, I just missed it, you can come and check the other one. So like this one here or the one across the hall there. They're the same box in the sense of it only counts once for the 5 that you're trying to get. Now, if we were still working on the artist guy stuff, we come to this potter here, and she gives us some clay for the guy's artistic project. I'm gonna pop into the House of Craft because I want to look for there's 2 boxes of crates in here for wedding supplies. So we come in and we're going to take a left into the first cubby hole, and there's a box. I don't think this one's twinned with anything. There might be a box over there somewhere, but I haven't found it. And then anyway, so we're going to keep going further and further in past these guild leaders, and then there's another wedding supply. So that'll put us at 3 out of our 5. So that's a good deal. We're doing great. Now, if I wanted to come over here, so this is basically the door is at the other end, and so we're at this end. This lady here, this marriage rite, she has 4 quests that you can do with her. And each one of them is a crafter style quest. So let me open up my shared storage. Oh, I can't do it at the same time. Yes, I understand that. Thank you. Shared storage. So when you go and do the quests, like I mentioned earlier, that there are quests in the outer regions for the starter races. So if you were to go out and do any of those festival quests, so if you do the stuff in Bree or the stuff in Kellendam/Dooland, the stuff up in Thorns Hall area, or the stuff around Bree. Did I mention Bree yet? So if you go to any of those 4, or the Shire, I didn't mention the party tree. That's probably the other one. There's 2 quests in each of those areas. And if you do those quests, what you get is a kit. Let me find one. Here we go. So this banner of the newlywed kits. So you finished, okay, so by doing Midsummer quests in Breetown, each one of those will give you one of these kits. Each of these kits can be put together, assembled by a crafter of the right type. So this is a wood kit. So a wood. Here, I can just, if we look at her and we her barter items, she has the recipes that you need to pick up in order to do these. So for example, the woodworker's banner can be only done by woodworkers. But then, okay, so that's the only one I can do those. There's banner of the newlywed recipe. Okay, yeah, there we go. So there's the woodworker version, there's the tailor version. The drinking horn, a metalworker can do, or a weaponsmith can do. I was thinking there was 2 of each, except for food. The wedding centerpiece can be done by a jeweler or a scholar. And then the strawberry buns can only be done by cooks. There's no second backup on that one. So those are the 4 different kits up at the top there. So you've got the strawberry bun baking kit, you get that from the Shire, by the party tree. The wedding centerpiece kit, you can, it says completing Midsummer Quest in Doolan. The other one, it's in Kellendam. The second one is in Kellendam. Don't let her fool you there. There's the banner of the newlywed kit that you get in the Breetown area. And then the drinking horn kit is Thorns Hall. So when you're looking for more of those kits, that's where you want to go. I mean, you can buy them from her for 2 festival tokens each. I'm not sure why you would do that unless you really wanted to get, I don't know why you would do that. So if I were to take like the banner of the newlywed here, and I go ahead and accept that, I need to deliver 3 banners of the newlywed to her. Okay, so I don't have any. Like if I look at her and she'd be like, yeah, you don't have any, you can't give that to me yet. But if I go back into my shared storage, and there I have 5. Oh, that's the kits. A moment. We are gonna go back to my tailor. There we go. I want the actual banners. I'm not gonna do the kits right now, but there we go. So I've made the banners in advance. I stuck them in my shared storage. Now I have them. Now she's like, hey, I'll take those banners out of your pocket. Cool, and now I have 3 Midsummer tokens, and that completes another quest. So what you could do is if you really want to be like, I don't have time for this, let's get a move on. If you have some time to bulk up ahead of time, You get those kits, you have your crafters make them, you stick them in your shared storage, and then you come and you do 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn in 3 of the snacks, turn in 3 of the wedding favors, turn in 3 of the drinking horns, turn in 3 of the banners, boom, 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 boom. You've just done 4 quests. So that really can accelerate how quickly you're getting through things. That would be the only reason I can think of why you might want to buy the kits rather than go and earning them from somewhere. Or sometimes people have them and they're like, I don't want these. So that could be another thing. Check the auction hall or check the trade channel. Sometimes people are getting rid of them, and I'm like, I will pay you for that. I'll give you in-game gold for that instead of having to go do the quests. Weir Willow says about that ghost that the sinister barrel keeps dropping shooting starlights next to. Weir Willow says at least that ghost has recently-ish gotten a makeover, so he's got his Numenorian good looks instead of being identical to all the Fornost frights. Nice. Okay, so we're going to go find that garden. So we came in here, we picked up that box of supplies, and then we came in here and we saw the potter and we went into the crafting hall. So I want to keep going northish. And there's a garden at the very, very end. So see how we're kind of going around here? So we're going to the garden at the very end. It's right up against the rocks. So that's where we're headed. So have all of you already gotten all of your midsummer goodies that you are looking to get? What I've ended up doing recently is I want to complete all the wrappers that you can get for the festivals, and so I keep going and keep going and keep going. And then I end up with more tokens than I need. So I've ended up buying everything I want to the point where I'm starting to buy like extras of some things. But there's some really cool stuff in here. So like, for example, this lantern that I'm standing next to, you can buy that as part of it's a festival item you can buy now. And so I ended up buying, I'm just stashing them away. I'll probably end up buying a whole bunch of them. There's also a hanging light that's really nice too. And that was really nice to put up in, I had a house in Falaflorn, the housing for elves, and it looks really good in the Falaflorn housing. So I'm just walking through here and I'm watering plants by throwing, see, a barrel of water on them, and pulling weeds that are pesky. I'm not sure how I determine they're pesky, but someone told me it's a pesky weed, so I'm going to get rid of it. Maybe I have a little gardener's book and it tells me what a pesky weed looks like. So I need to do I need to water 2 more bushes, and I need to pull 1 more pesky weed, and then I will have completed this area. Dog says, yes, finished the wrappers yesterday, refilling your tokens to max again. Yeah, Dogs, that's what I kind of tend to do as well. Now, for people who are curious, not all of the festivals have a max. This one, I think, was the first one that they started doing that, and 250 tokens is the max. But that makes it kind of nice if you have them, because then when you pop in the first day of the festival, you're like, buy all the new things, and then you're like, cool, now it's time to refill. That's the rest of it. Okay, so now I finished with the doing the garden. I need to go back to the gardener, but riding through Minas Tirith takes a long time, which is good if you are a resident of Minas Tirith and don't want the opposing armies to get through your city very quickly, but less advantageous if you are a festival goer and trying to ride around and help people with, tidying up the city. So we're gonna go back to let's see, I did the wording crafts, the craftsman's tier. Where'd it go? Continue. After garden, use milestone, take stable master to craftsman's tier, dismount and ride down. Okay. Leaf Scalderson says, I tried Lord of the Rings. I couldn't get past the tutorial. Were you saying that the tutorial was too difficult, or it was not intuitive? I've run into the not intuitive part. I will have to say that I've played some MMO stuff, and I've done a lot of tabletop gaming. Okay, so we're finishing with him. You're welcome, mister. Now we're gonna go back up. Anyway, the UI of Lotro did take some time for me to get used to, and how to do things. Now it's very intuitive to me, but that's because I know how to do it, right? Like, driving's easy once you know how to drive. Learning to drive is easy if you already know how to drive, right? It's that kind of thing. Hang on, so I'm going to send myself to the players tier and then dismount and ride down. We're going to do a quest down at that end of the thing. Yeah, so Lee Skalderson, Where Willow has also asked, saying, sorry to hear that. Didn't love it or was some sort of technical issue, and you said you couldn't learn it. Yep, I get it. It's, yeah, the UI, I don't know, maybe it just takes some getting used to. And also, I have now a bunch of plugins on my screen that I use to help me out with various things. And of course, when you're very new to the game, you wouldn't know about those plugins, and they may be overwhelming as well. Now that I know the game, when I go through the tutorial, I understand what they're trying to do. Like, basically, with a lot of the tutorial stuff, and basically anything from like level 20 and below, maybe even level 30 or 40 and below, it is a bit of, let me teach you how to blah, blah, blah in the game. Like, how to push buttons, or how to move your person around, or things like that. So it's sometimes if you approach it from that mindset of, okay, what are they trying to teach me here? Like at the very beginning of the tutorial, and I've done the Hobbit one a bunch of times, so I can't remember exactly with all the other ones, but I think it's pretty similar. Like you first encounter your NPC that's going to guide you through the tutorial. And they're like, you know, hey, here's a bag on the ground. Why don't you look in it and take out any weapons you find, right? And so it is basically learning how to click on something to search, because that's how you find chests and things like that. And also learning how to, once you get that into your inventory, so your inventory might look, you know, like this, but much smaller, because you don't start off with this many spots. But you have a thing in your inventory and you're like, how do I get this thing in my inventory onto my character so I can use it? And so it's teaching you that. It's like, you know, click on it, or, you know, open your character panel with the letter C for character and drag it onto your character. You know, so like it's trying to teach you how to interact with the UI is some of it. So it's really funny. Sometimes for me to watch that and be like, okay, I get what they're trying to teach me. Okay, I understand here now. Well, Leaf, I'm glad you're here to watch. I hope you do enjoy it. I really love playing Lotro, so I'm happy to share, you know, what we're doing here and maybe explain a little bit. So maybe if you ever do pick it up again, maybe you'd be like, oh, I saw this person do this, now it makes sense, you know, that kind of thing. Oh, and Weirwilla does make a point that some classes and some races are more difficult, more confusing than others. Minstrel does do a lot of stuff. The Brawler, I think, is a pretty simple class to play. A Warden, don't even go there. Like, that one is really complex. Hunters are actually pretty easy to play because you are mainly like, let me hit you with my little pointy sword, or let me shoot you with a bow and arrow. Like, pretty much that's what you do. And I play a hunter most of the time, and there's stuff I can do. Like, I know how to build things and whatnot, but it's nothing at all like with a Warden where you're trying to like connect things. Warden's like playing magic user stuff, crazy stuff. Dog says, introduction shame, they still have the Hobbits going to Archet. You love the high elf one though. So I think the Hobbits one going to Archet is interesting, yeah, because they're like, you were kidnapped, and so you end up in Archet, and then they come out of there, and you're like running around all this stuff by there to do the kind of, again, introduction. Here's how you go out and, you know, hit things. Here's how you go out and pick up things. This is what a mini boss looks like, you know, and here's some storyline. So it's cute, and I understand that they want to just keep using that because they've already built all of that, right? And they're using it for a Race of Man. But I agree with you that I would love to see them bring like a new Hobbit intro that keeps you in the Shire. Like, that would make more sense, right? I keep hoping that maybe someday that we'll get another Hobbit race, because you've got elf and you got high elf. You've got dwarf, you've got stout axe dwarves now, right? Like we've got some stuff. Bjornings, which are like their own thing, but they're still under the race of man. So man and Bjornings. We don't have a second Hobbit yet. So still waiting. We keep joking whenever like Cord is streaming. There'll be at some point where things come up and before we'll put in like some crazy thing and be like hashtag Hobbit rumors or something like that. It would be really funny. Yeah, like something around the Yonder Shire, to use that as an intro. That'd be really cool. That'd be actually really, really cool because I've spent so much time in the Shire proper that I like, it's like a second home, right? Like I know where everything is. But Yonder Shire, I haven't spent enough time there yet to really like internalize the different areas and what's different about them. Like I know there's like kind of the mountainy one and there's like the plains one and like, you know, there's like all these different areas. But I haven't quite gotten to the point where I could just be like, oh yeah, that's No Bottle. Oh, okay, that's Grindlewood or whatever it's called. Like the different areas, I'm still getting to know them. And so having an intro that dropped you into that one of those areas but it was instanced like it is in our chat, you know, where you're not in landscape our chat, you're in intro our chat. So like intro Yonder Shire, that'd be really, really cool. I like your idea, dogs. Okay, so we've come down the ramp here and we're talking to Cariel, the pastry chef. For Borlock, the artisan guy, we come to her to get some charcoal out of her oven. And then she also has another quest for us called Sweet Treats. And she asks us to take that plate of pastries that she has prepared next to her. Man, I'm telling you, like, having my stream time at this time of day, it's like 6:30 here in the Netherlands, and I'm like, I'm hungry, and here I am doing festival, and the festival's all about food, and I'm like, oh man, y'all, make me hungry. Okay, anyway, so we are riding north, if I call it that, to give some treats to 2 of these hungry guards, but there's 4. So there's 2 that are north of her and 2 that are south of her. So it's dealer's choice. You could go north first, you could go south first. It doesn't really matter. But I've finished with the north things. I don't need to do anything else up that way. So now we're gonna go south. I've got 2 guards down here to find. I want to find the rest of those wedding supplies, which sometimes there's one, behind Cariel there. We're gonna pick that up. Kabam. All right, let me mount back up. Actually, it's a little ways. Oops, let me scooch over. And there's another guard in this area. The nice thing is they do show up as rings on your map, so you can catch them, because they're often patrolling, but they patrol in an area all the time. Okay, another place you might see wedding supplies is right here. And this one is twinned with the one across the hall there. So if you see somebody grab one, instead of waiting for it to respawn, you can just pop over to the other one. Waves from across the North Sea. Hey! Let's see, that'd be, I think that way. Hello! Excellent. Oh my gosh, it has been a gorgeous day today. It's been like, I don't know, 23 or something. Just pointing out, there's another wedding supplies right there. But because I'm at my 5, I don't need to pick that up. And the other guard, the last one, is usually about here. So we'll say hello to him, give him a treat. And then there's another wedding supplies over here, and I think that one's twinned with the one up in that little cubby hole there. Okay, so I'm done with the guards, but I actually want to go into this inn that's back here. So we're gonna swing over here. Anyway, yeah, it was a gorgeous day today. It was sunny, but there was enough places where I could find shade that I could hide, plus I put on sunscreen. We went and had a walk around. So I live in the Netherlands, and for those of you who are not familiar with the Netherlands, which is most of the world, it's kind of like a squished up triangle. It looks kind of like that, you know, that it comes together at the top. So that's kind of what the Netherlands looks like. And the area that's, and one side of it is all right up against like the North Sea and stuff. So you've got like Great Britain, the island of Great Britain there, and you've got the island of Ireland over there. So we've got like this area between us, and then like France is below us and Germany's beside us, that sort of thing. So in the Netherlands, we have a huge coastline, and along that coastline is where you get places like Amsterdam and Rotterdam and The Hague. And then you add in another city that's a little bit inland called Utrecht, and those 4 cities pretty much make up the majority of where the people in the Netherlands live. Like 50% of the people who live in the Netherlands live in that area of the country. We do not. We live further inland. So, I mean, the Netherlands is not that wide. Like, you can drive from one side, like, you can drive across in like 2 hours. In some parts, you can drive across in less than 2 hours. But we're like 30 minutes from Germany. So we're much closer to Germany than we are to the coast, for example. So I just love being inland because we don't get quite the dynamic weather off of the North Sea that you get in some places around the Netherlands. And it's been just like beautiful today, sunny but not too sunny, all sorts of things like that. Okay, so Capody says, Hobbit warriors for the win, woohoo, Hobbits. I'm playing my high elf today, but just, don't tell everybody I'm cheating on my Hobbit, right? Nah, she's okay, she's resting, she's chilling out, she's happy to let my high elf come out and have some fun. And Capody says, I keep getting lost in Midsummer Fest. Well, I am here to help you out with that. So you've missed the first half, but you can always just like go back and rewatch that. Because this will be up on the Twitch page forever, because the Lotro page is like an official, whatever. So they don't delete the videos. And I also cross-posted onto my YouTube page. So I'll get you a link to that in a moment. Oh, that's not gonna give it to me. I have it on my website, which I have open, but I have my website kind of squished at the moment. So hang on just a moment. Well, I'll tell you what, let me just give you, this might be easier for you as well. This might help you out. This is a post that I made of how to get around in Minas Tirith for the festival. It does assume that you know a few things, but I do have kind of like a little guidance and then like a preamble preparation section. So take a look at that and see if you have questions about that, and I can definitely answer that, here right now on the stream. Or you can always like come back to me and post on my Twitter and whatever. And on my website, on the front page on the top, I have the links to my Twitter and my my YouTube and Instagram. So you can always message me on any of those, and I'll be totally happy to help out. Yes, do not show off the high elf tumble move. I do love the high elf tumble move. So I went through a high elf phase, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, real quick though, I'll show you real quick. So if you're doing the barrels, this is barrel number 3, and I picked this up yesterday. And so then we're going back out, and I'm just like a naughty person, I just jump over their stuff. So high elves have this beautiful tumble. So let's see if I can make it happen. So I'm gonna jump up in the air, and then when I land, instead of just landing, I'm gonna just like tumble, because high elves are just like cool like that. Boom. There we go. Not bad, eh? Let's see if I can do that again. Try and do it on camera, right? No hesitation. Boom. Okay, so they've got that, which is pretty dang cool. They also have the Dance 3 for high elves, is pretty nice. Yes, Capody says, despite these so-called dated graphics, Lotro has and will always be a beautiful game to play. I know, right? I'm always find it fascinating when people are like how soon is this gonna be updated, or when's the new graphics or whatever. I'm like, what is it missing? What is it you are not seeing? Because I'm curious to know what it is you want more of. All right, so Dance 3. Did I type it in wrong? Hang on. Can I not dance? What am I doing? Ah, there we go. There she goes. So this is dance number 3 for high elves. This is this beautiful little ballet thing she's got going on. I love it. I love it. So, and also they're a little bit better as a hunter than a hobbit. They've got like actually no, hunters, I think elves are better. They've got like a bonus to one-handed weapons or something like that. Anyway, I love the high elf. I definitely went through a huge high elf phase, but hobbits are my favorite to play, and so I'm almost always playing a hobbit. So, but this was my first character that I played on Treebeard, and so she's the one who owns the kinship and owns the house and everything. So yes, high elves, you say they're snooty and pat hobbitses on the head like puppies. I mean, maybe. It makes you wonder if all races will get a special animation. I don't know. Yeah, I know, right? I had noticed that hobbits, the female hobbit and the male hobbit, I think it's Hobbit Dance 1, is different. Like the guys do some little spin and like a clap clap, and the women hobbits don't have that, which I think is really weird. Because the first time I saw, so I don't have any hobbit men, or I didn't until this server. And I was making characters for every class. I'll explain why in a minute. And so I was like, well, I don't have a hobbit guy, so I'll make a hobbit guy. And then I saw some of the things he does, or some of the sounds he makes when he laughs or whatever, and I was like, oh, that's where this is coming from, because I would hear it at times. And then, yeah, I was like, where did that come from? And now I know. I'm like, oh, it's a hobbit dude. That's what it was. Okay, let's see. We just did the swan. So we are on wedding gift supplies. Oh, no, that's housecraft. Oh yeah, 200 guards. Okay, so we're on the craftsman's tier, also known as the third tier. So if you're following along, we're in the yellow section. I did these color coded because it was easier for me to find them if I could just look at a whole color all at once. I had to manually do the colors, but it was so worth it. Okay, so we're going back to Kiriel and give her her tray back that's now empty because we fed the guards. Okay, so Dog says, I always direct people to Foreshell for the views and atmosphere. I tell you what, I love Foreshell. It is beautiful. For those of you who haven't seen it, it is all like an icy, snowy landscape. It's very much like going to Finland. And a lot of the names and the words and stuff that are used there seem to have like a Finnish kind of influence. And it's amazing. Now, some people don't like it. They're like, oh my gosh, it's this landscape that goes on forever and it's just boring, it's just snowy, it's cold, whatever. I'm like, well, then don't go there. But for the rest of us who love it, it's like, it's beautiful. It's just so beautiful. Okay, so Capody says the noobs want CGI characters and photorealistic scenery. Rolls eyes, yeah. They don't seem to know about the fantastic music system and community Lotro has had for over a decade. Right? The whole music thing. Oh, Dog says nothing better than the Hobbit giggle. I know, the Hobbit giggle. That's it, the Hobbit flip. Have you seen the Hobbit flip? It is like, I mean, if I do a flip as a high elf, it's a high elf flip, whatever. So let me just do flip. Flip, F-L-I-P. So I do a flip and I go like that. So like a big, kind of a gymnastics thing, like jump in the air, tuck the legs, flip, down, done. The Hobbit one is fantastic. They go back onto their hands and then flip the legs and then onto the hands and flip the legs again. And then they go at the end, like this cute little ta-da. It is the cutest thing. I showed that to somebody one day and they had never seen it before. And they're like, oh, do that again. It's so good. It's so cute. So yes, okay. Yes, Capody says, oh, my old age, I forgot about that. More Easter eggs for me to hunt down. Thanks to dogs. I know, right? Oh my gosh. So that's one of the things that's kind of fun, is to go through the animations with each of the characters and be like, is that the one I saw before or not? Like, for example, the high elves, when they're riding, let me get back on the mount. They ride kind of sideways as if to be like, they just cannot sit straight on. And I love it. They actually, SSG, the people who make Lotro, see how she's kind of like riding a little bit so the canter off to the side. They fixed it and had the high elves now sitting straight, and people were like, no, and so they put it back. Funny thing is, when they fixed it, during that period of time, there was a broken piece actually, because the male high elves, when they would mount, the mounts wouldn't show. No, that's not what it was. When they would eat something, that's what it was. Because we always have foods around when we're out questing and stuff to help buff us. So we've got like the Bjorn's honey cakes, and then we have a cooked food and a trail food and a fortifying food. And so when the high elf male, just the male, would go to eat something, it would look as if they would go up as if they were mounted, so they had the legs off to the side and everything. But there was no mount, so they were just like hovering in midair with their legs akimbo, eating something, and then when they were done, they'd go back to the ground. It was so funny. I don't think I got it on video, which is too bad because I just thought that was so funny. All right, so we're gonna give her her tray back, and she's gonna give us some Midsummer tokens. Thanks, lady. All right, so we're gonna go up the ramp now. Let's see, and the water will freeze you there. Oh yeah, back up to the foretell conversation. If you swim out into the water, some parts will just freeze you instantly. Some places you have to get further out. Some places you can swim around and you don't freeze. It's really interesting. I love it. I love that the water will freeze you if you go too far. Yes, the double flip, the double flip. I know, more special movements for the races. I'm hoping that they'll keep doing that because it's delightful. I understand though, it takes a lot of time. It takes time from programmers to do stuff like that, but it just adds to the game. I think that's one of the things that makes Lotro so much fun is there's like all these little details that make a huge difference. For example, the flowers that are here. I couldn't tell you specifically what kinds of flowers these are, but I would guarantee that the people who worked on this have in their dossier of Minas Tirith, they would have like basically an idea of, let me zoom out. So they would have an idea of like, okay, Gondor has this kind of vegetation and weather and, you know, the things that are conducive to a different type of flower. So for example, like I've spent a lot of my life in Colorado. Colorado doesn't have a lot of oxygen and it's a high level, and so it's a little bit rougher on the plants there. So the plants tend to be, like flowers, tend to be thinner, weedier looking, the blossoms are smaller, the leaves are smaller. They're just not as robust because it's a harsher environment. But you go to some place like, you know, well, like here in the Netherlands, where things have the opportunity to like grow and everything, and it's just lush, right? And like the petals are giant and the leaves are big and all of those sorts of things, right? And so I can guarantee they spent time thinking about those sorts of things, and the flowers and the foliage and the trees and everything that's here would be in harmony with that kind of thing. That is like such a detail that I know they would have put the time in for it though, right? Because that's what the SSG people do. And it's amazing to me. So I think it's great. So that's one of the things I love about this game is the attention to detail that they give to so much of it. Now, every so often you'll come across something and you're like, well, that's an interesting choice. How does that fit with the lore? Or how does that fit with whatever? They usually have an answer for it, but it's not necessarily a satisfying answer. Now, I will say though, Scenario is an SSG employee, and he does a stream roughly once a month where he does a tour of an area, and he will talk about like the decisions that they made for that area and why they decided to do things the way they did, particularly in landscape and that sort of thing. So if you ever have a question and be like, hey, why did you use like the 7-pointed star when you're over in this area with these people who probably wouldn't have had any interaction with that, why is that there? He would be able to have some conversation about why that haven't attempted to photobomb with your little hobbit. Yes, if you are in Minas Tirith, come on over. But you have to do a hobbit flip. You have to do a hobbit flip on stream because it's so cute. Last year I participated in Extra Life, which was in like October, I think it was, and I'll be doing that again probably. Whenever somebody gave a donation, I would just stop what I was doing and I would do a Hobbit flip for them because I was playing on my Hobbit, of course. So yes, Hobbit flips are fantastic. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I am giving treats, these tasty morsels from the cook up on the very, very top. He wanted me to deliver tasty morsels to the some of the nobles in town and basically try to help get them interested in his food. So that's what I'm doing here is I'm just working my way down and around. So I'm up on this tier here, and I'm working my way around and feeding them some special little treats. So what we got here in the chat. Hey, Moobot says, please be aware that SSG and our game masters will never ask for your password. Yeah, that's actually very important. Don't ever give your password in chat or in an instant message or any of that. That is not an SSG employee. So don't ever do that. Please do not click on any suspicious links posted in world chat. Also a very excellent point. Yeah, so there we go. Yes, Capudi says, well said, reminder, Mubat. Okay, so that's the last of these nobles that we're delivering treats to, and some of them say some ridiculous things, so definitely worth taking a look at that. Lariana says, they have 2 Tolkien scholars on staff, I'm told. Don't agree with all their decisions, though, like spoken names. Right? Sometimes the actors they get in, I'm wondering if they make choices or say things in a way that is not what is anticipated, or... Yeah, I don't know, right? Like, there's times when I'm like, well, that's not how I thought it was said. I'll tell you what, though, if you want to talk about pronunciation of stuff, on Fridays here at, let's see, Cord, when he streams, is on at noon. So the Tolkien Professor, when he's in town, is on at 1 o'clock. So 1 o'clock on Fridays, 1 o'clock Eastern time, which is, I don't even know what time that is here, like 7 p.m. I think. So 1 o'clock Eastern time, the Tolkien Scholar is on. It's Professor Corey Olson. And yeah, he is great. You could ask him about like pronunciations and lore and oh my gosh, like, yeah, it is wonderfully delicious. And his streams also end up on the Lotro stream Twitter, or Twitch here, and then he also has a YouTube channel where like he's been doing these kind of like every week they go and explore an area. So they're working their way through the Lord of the Rings books, and oh my gosh, they're like, I think he started like 6 years ago, and they just got to the Council of Elrond like 6 months ago. It's like, and that took like a month or two. Anyway, but they're really great because like in those streams, they discuss part of the book and then they spend the last part of the episode going out into the world in Lotro that is in some way related to what they were just discussing in the book, and it's been delightful. Can we link his channel? Let me think here. Let me do it this way. I can do Friday, and that shows you everybody. Yes, Lariana does point out that the Tolkien professor's decisions on how to pronounce established Tolkien references is also not necessarily what we would expect and all that. Corey is very knowledgeable, Lariana mentions, but even Tolkien scholars argue, and that is so true. I try to pronounce Forhel with that kind of a guttural that I'm picking up from being in the Netherlands, because that seems to be the closest to the way a person from Finland pronounces it. And given that so much of Forhel is based on Finnish culture and landscape, that seems to make sense to me. So, oh, you're welcome, Capodi. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so you've got all the links there. Signum U is the one you're looking for. Druid's Fire is Druid's Fire. Big Ed Mustafa is, I don't remember what it is. I just know him as Big Ed Mustafa. Yeah, and then Cordovan is the community manager, and he's also an SSG employee, and the stream is on hiatus over the summer for now, and then he'll be back in the fall. So, but yeah, so then you can see his individual channel. But the Tolkien Professor is here on Fridays, and then yeah, he does his other thing over on the Signum U Twitch, I think, on the other days. I never catch it live because it's at like, I don't know, 8 o'clock Eastern time or something like that. I'm like, I'm asleep. Well, and if I'm not, I should be. Okay, so I've just gone into the Blue Theater, which is at the end. Oh, that doesn't show you. Basically at the end of the circle, kind of like the Mumak and Keep was, where it got to the end. So this guy has a quest where basically there's a band who's supposed to be playing, and they've all kind of wandered off, and he's like, can you go and round them back up? So we could do that, but we're not going to. But if you do that, you'll find that they are kind of in different locations around this wheel, and they'll have like basically 2 or 3 different locations they could be in. So if they're not in one, you could just go and check the other one. I did have that listed out somewhere, but I think I might not have put it in this blog post. Let's see, let me look. This is on, we're on the green section, which is the players tier, also the 4th tier. I did not note where all their locations are on there, I'm sorry. But down, usually, so some of them are located down here on the ground floor, and if not, they're up on the balconies, and if they're not there, they're in another place. So basically, they're kind of dotted throughout that clock. So, yeah, just look through the clock, and like Shift F10 can also be your friend, because that's like find next NPC. But I am going to place some floral arrangements here on the stage, and that's 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, and this is my 5th floral arrangement that automatically completes. So now I have done 8 out of the 10 Midsummer Festival activities that I want to do today. So you'll notice I have some things like deliver the cask to Marilyn to the last drop, that single one. We've got wedding supplies. I could go ahead and take that up to the top and deliver those to Marilyn. Tasty morsels, that's the cook guy at the top. I could pop up there and return that quest to him. So I've got spares already. Let's see what's going on in chat here. Capo D is talking about, with the pronunciations, a refusal to confirm, although I read that as a refusal to conform, which is also fine. But the thing is, I'm okay with people having different opinions on things. Like, sometimes I'm very much like, what is the right answer? I must know the right answer. But other times I'm like, you know what? People can have different opinions, and I think I'm okay with that. So, yeah. Okay, so Lariana says, never had to pronounce stuff when playing the game. Yeah, I know, right? Tell me about it. Streaming and playing, it's like, yeah, it opens up a whole different section of like the game that you don't, we're like, well, so yeah. So she says, or they say, I don't know, sorry. When I started streaming this game, it's an amazing discovery journey on finding out Tolkien names, right, and places are pronounced. Never in a million years would I expect to find out. I7, hey, hello, I7. You are joining the Lotro stream team, right? Are you on today? Are you on later on today? So I7 is joining the stream, the Lotro stream team, and we'll be streaming on Tuesdays. Oh, good, starting today. Hooray. Capody says, oh gosh, what was I thinking? I've been following Big Ed for quite a while. Yeah, Big Ed is on here on Fridays. You can check him out here on Fridays. Okay, so let me go back to, where are we? Let's see, we just did, oh, back inside that blue theater. Oh yeah, we could have done something misplaced, something blue, that's fine, the band. And I finished arranging arrangements. So according to my notes, I should be taking the milestone down, go to the high stables, and go down to the sages here. Okay, we'll go ahead and do that. So I didn't actually need to come out here. I could have done this from inside there. So hey ho, married all. I like it. So let's see if Tuesday is updated. So Tuesday, is it Tuesdays? I always forget whether I have to put an S on the end of these things or not. I guess it is Tuesdays, all of them, unless I'm just misspelling Tuesday. Okay, hang on, I gotta go to the list because apparently my typing is, do I need to copy and paste? This is why it's handy. Before is normally here and doing all these things for me, but unfortunately, he does have a job. I mean, fortunately, I guess he has a job. That's a good thing, right? It just happened that his work has a meeting right now because he works for an American, well, his team is based out of America, I should say. So he sometimes has meetings at you know, US work times. So yay, there we go. So now there's 4 of us on Tuesdays. It used to be 1, and then it was 2, and now it's 3, and it's 4. It's so good. Okay, so let's see. So Tuesday streamers are me, and I start at 11:30 Eastern time, which is like 5:30 in the evening for me. So I try to remember to eat dinner like before I get on stream, but I don't always. So then after I'm done, there's technically a half-hour break, but usually either I go over or B4 starts early or both. We try to squish that and meet in the middle. And so B4 comes on and he streams for a couple hours talking about the plugins in Lotro. So if you're having like any questions or any troubles with getting a plugin to load, or if you're like, hey, I'm looking for a plugin that does XYZ, he might know about it. He's made a number of plugins and he's made some patches to other people's plugins, so it's kind of like a little add-on to that. So he is very knowledgeable about all of that. He's a computer guy, software engineer as his day job. So anyway, so he'll be on for 2 hours, and then we have we have our new person i7 coming on, and I don't know what's your kind of specialty. So I tend to focus on like the festivals and kind of like the kind of social side of things that are going on in the game. Some people, like Druid's Fire, will take you through the quests or be questing in an area, and will just like, you just kind of jump on the back of the horse with her and go along for the ride. Big Ed Mustafa, I'm pretty sure his deal is to do only free to play. So like I'm a VIP, I pay monthly, and for me, the benefits that come with that make the experience richer for me, and so it's worth it for me to do that. But it is not a requirement to pay any money ever to Lotro to play. So I think it's Big Ed that does that, who will show you what it's like to play as a free-to-play player, which is pretty amazing. So yes, i7, very exciting, yay! So let's see, you will be playing with your completionist character, Caladrea, and usually, so i7 generally spends time questing or is very deed focused. Oh, I love the deeds. I'll pull that up in a minute. And Capody says, PSA, don't forget to click that heart on the streamers' pages to support them and Lotro. Thank you, appreciate that. I will admit that I'm rarely streaming on my Twitch channel. I'm almost always streaming here on the Lotro stream channel. My poor channel is so neglected, so neglected. But I do post on Twitch or on Twitter, and then I do a lot of stuff on like Life Beyond the Shire, and then I have my business side, which is a whole different thing where I talk about Dutch stuff, and and so sometimes I'll use my Twitch page, my Twitch channel, to do like a video blog or to chat about Dutch things, and that goes over onto my Nikki Abridged side of things. So, which hat am I wearing at that time? Okay, so let's see, we just did the blue section. No, we didn't. We are going into the blue section, so that'd be the Sage's tier. So let's see, we just did arranging arrangements, so we want to go up to the high stables. That's where we're going. So let's grab that. And we are going to dismount and go down to the Sage's tier. Oh, so I want to do click on the dismount, which is over here in the corner somewhere. Oh yeah, deeds. I wanted to talk about deeds. Deedly-doo. So one of the things that B4 did was to create this deed tracker. And he based it off of some of the, another plugin that was all about rebuilding Hitbold. So you might see so if you're familiar with that tracker, you might see some familiar pieces that stick out. Deed Tracker is your life. I can tell you that Deed Tracker was our life for many hours. There were many nights when he stayed up late working on this when he was developing it. He saw dawn way too many times. Which actually isn't that hard when it's summertime, because we're so far up north that, you know, there's long days, which means short nights. But that doesn't mean you should stay up. So anyway, okay, so this is the deed tracker for those of you who haven't seen it before. And you can narrow it down or let's see everything. So for example, I'm under the class race epic tab, which he set it up to emulate the deed log that is in the game natively. So you'll notice that they have a parity to look back and forth. So class, race, epic, Eriador, and stuff like that. So, aw, Capity, you're so sweet. This is hat tip to the multi-talented Little Red and streamers. What you do for us all in your streams is nothing short of great, informative, and fun to watch. That was very sweet. Thank you. That is my goal. My goal is to be informative, interesting to watch, and hopefully, like, you know, quality. So I appreciate the reinforcement there. Thank you very much. It's very kind. So, okay, so the deed tracker, at the bottom of the deed log in the game, you'll have the different tabs. So you've got like class, and then race and social, and then epic, and then reputation. It's a similar way in here. It's set up with the breakout tabs. So check boxes on the side. So you've got class, and then race and social, then epic, reputation, and then allegiances got put in here also. So for example, under my race and social tab, which is what I would work on the most, first thing is you've got, you know, like your stuff under your race. So let me pull this up. So I could, for example, look on my completed race and social things. I've got like a cool reception, a face fellowship. So all of those things that I've completed are here. All the things I've completed are noted in the deed tracker, and they're marked green with the date that I completed it, as well as a check mark next to it. It shows me what I haven't completed, which sometimes you have like a hidden deed or something that doesn't show you. For example, I finished Enmity of the Orcs. Enmity of the Orcs 2, I'm probably in the middle of defeat 150 orcs in any area. But Enmity of the Orcs 3, it doesn't necessarily show me yet in Race and Social because I haven't unlocked it, because I haven't finished 2. But this tells me, there is a 3, I can complete that in the future. So it shows you all deeds, whether you have begun them or not, and whether they are like visible to you yet or not. Hidden deeds are listed here. So like Insulted, which is to receive, let's see, where does it say? Receive 200 /rude emotes. And once you have done that, then you receive the, you finish the deed that's Insulted. But that's not listed in the in-game thing. So if I look at like uncompleted, you won't find Insulted listed here. It's a hidden deed. So that's one of the cool things about Deed Tracker is it shows you all of the hidden deeds as well as ones that you are working on and can see and all of that. Other cool things are deeds that you can see how much how many Lotro points are available still outstanding that you could earn, and the virtue experience that is still available to you that you could go and earn. Capody says, I can see players going in-game and spamming those emotes now. You could, however, and it does list it here, that it can, these social, hidden social deeds can only be incremented 5 times per day. And it is the number of ones that you receive. So if somebody does like /laugh at me, throughout the day, and I receive that 5 times, the 6th time does not do anything towards incrementing me towards that 200 for the deed. Only 5 per day count. Funny little trick though, because you don't always run into people who are going to laugh at you, or you can be like, hey, can you laugh at me 5 times? That'd be great. That'd be kind of weird. But what you can do is, if you don't have somebody to do that with you, like we started doing that with our kinship when we first started on Treebeard, because of course these are brand new characters and we didn't have any of those deeds completed, right? So we're like, hey, every time you see another one of our kinmates, go through the list and do the things at them 5 times. Just do it at each other, right? Yes, like the tasks, 5 a day. So a lot of people got through a lot of them really quickly, right? But then you've got your stragglers, you've got your second characters, your alts. Second alts. And your alts, and your alts, and your alts, and your alts. You can do these emotes to a named NPC, and it counts as if somebody did it to you. It is 5 a day for each emote, yes. So you would see like in your say category when it shows you like when somebody does an emote at you, you would see it be like, so-and-so laughs at other so-and-so, laugh again, laugh again, laugh again, laugh again. Rude is rude is rude is rude is rude is rude. You know, salute, 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 salute. There is actually a plugin called, hang on, let me pull it up. Oh, I don't have it. I need options. Nope, that's not what I need. Hang on, let me go to the little caret. That's how I can find it. For a bunch of my characters, I just went ahead and put the plugin manager into my little bar at the bottom. Okay, so in the plugin manager, these are all the plugins that I have loaded. Is it emote guy? No, what's it called? Social guy. There's a, let me load that up. There's a plugin called Social Guy. Okay, let's close that out. And it looks like this little thing here. I'll stick it, see, it's next to my head there. So it's got like a whole bunch of little faces. You know, so many, you come into my stream and then you walk away with a to-do list, right? It's all good. It just enhances your playing. So Social Guy, here you go, you have to right click on it and it opens up this panel. So you can, not the red ones, but the blue ones, right? Yeah, angry, beg, bored, bout, cheer. Yeah, those are the ones. Also there's salute is down in the green. So Social Guy is missing a couple, but basically a couple of the hidden deeds. But the blue ones are the ones you're probably looking for. Let me see, there's no named NPCs by me. Okay, of course not. Nope, I can't click on any of you people. Let's see. But basically, I could then just click that. Oh, and Gandalf's not there. Where are all the people? I need a person. But yeah, so I can use Social Guy to kind of manage that. So, because what I was doing is I had it all up on my bar. Like you'll see, I'll have a whole bunch of emotes down at the bottom. I'm on my, I have my first bar is like all the things I do in combat and getting around and all that. And then my second bar, I have it be all the social things that I do. So like on my Hobbits, I have them all set up the same way. So I know like over here is cheer, and then what's next to it? I forget. The third one is chuckle. So because when I go to Green Dragon Friday, I like to be able to just like click them up, and just move right through. So let's see, we should have, oh, diggity dang it. I thought I was in the other house. There are healers in here. There's usually one walking around in the grass. Of course, I'm looking for him, I can't find him. So, okay, to answer your question, oh, there's a healer. Let me go up there and see if I can do emotes at her. Oh, it works with objects like mailboxes. Oh. Okay, so like I can click on this healer and then I can be like, let me see if I have it. Oh, you probably, I don't know if you can hear, but she's like, it says, you are angry with healer. And so I can click the little alias button next to it. See my character's like, or I can then beg. So you see people do this where it's like 5 things in a row where they're just standing there and now I'm bored 5 times in a row. I yawn. I bow deeply, but I click it so she never actually finishes the emote. And then cheer and stuff like that. So you could just go through this list one at a time. Unfortunately, the queuing it up and then like select all, cycle queue, they seem to be broken. Like they don't seem to be, they don't do anything, unfortunately. So that is not, you can't do it that way, unfortunately, with this one, but anyway. But it's a cool thing. Let me move my guy out of the way there. I keep my social guy down at the bottom so I can, keep track of it. Yeah, so you have to manually do each one, but it's not too bad, right? Like it's click, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you cannot select the box and hit go. It doesn't seem to work. Seems to be something that broke at some point. And the problem with a lot of the plugins is that they were developed and they're freaking awesome, but then like, a Lotro update happened where it doesn't work anymore, or for some reason something doesn't work anymore. And the people who did that, I mean, it's just a labor of love and they may not be playing anymore, whatever. And so the plugin kind of goes out of date. Now, for the more popular plugins, other people will often pick them up. And I know Cube was talking about this the other day or before, was where like there was this thing that was originally done by so-and-so, and so the folder is still called that on your computer by that person's name, and then they stopped supporting it, and so this other person picked it up and they did a bunch of work on it, and then they stopped supporting it, and so like a third person picked it up and they kept it active for a while, and now a fourth person is the one who is actively keeping it updated. So things like that are what happens. Like the cycle of plugins does go like that. Yeah, we must protest and demand fixes. Take your characters to the plugin store, eating 11sies. Yeah, it would be cool. And unfortunately, so the programming language, and B4 can speak to this a lot better than I can. Actually, I'm going to leave this space. Is that the programming language that plugins use is called Lua, and it allows the plugin to see things that the game knows about. So for example, the game knows which deeds you've completed, how far you are on your progress on various deeds, things like that. So the game has that information embedded in its proprietary stuff. But the Lua language allows your computer or a plugin to look at that information and display it to you in a way that maybe the game does not natively do. Like, for example, I have my Titan bar up here, and it tells me my backpack information. It tells me how many free spaces I have in my backpack over how many total spaces I have, right? So that is something the game knows. Like, I can look at my thing and count, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this is known and available information, but the plugin allows me to see that in a way that's, more useful to me as a human being. So that Lua language and what it can access was basically a pet project of a SSG employee at some point in the past, and I guess that person's not there anymore. And so there is an interest, and I think this is like 10 years ago that they gave that out, like gave that availability. So anything that's been created since then, for example, like the carryalls, the Lua doesn't know what to do with those. It doesn't understand them. It doesn't know about them. So that's why you don't have any plugins that can look inside your carryalls, because it just doesn't exist. It sees that there's a carryall. It knows that there's the thing. It's like, oh yeah, I see. There's the thing. That's a carryall, but it doesn't know anything about how to get into it. There's been talk, like with Scenario and stuff like that, and people like that, or not Scenario. Who's the head guy? With the head guy, whatever, the main producer, about maybe trying to do an update on that Lua accessibility. The problem is you have to be really careful, because you could open up then all of that programming stuff to, to damage. Like, people could do stuff with it they're not supposed to, and you have to be really careful with that. So I understand the hesitation, because what's out there has been being used for so long that if there was a way to, muck up something, it probably would have been found already. And thank goodness that, like, there's not a way to muck up the game and destroy it and damage it or whatever. But so yeah, so I know that there's like an interest in updating what Lua can see, and therefore what the plugins can see, but there's also a hesitation to get it done because it's going to take a lot of time and work and testing and that sort of thing. And at that point, might as well do other things in the game that apply to more people. So things like that. So that's why, one of the many reasons why SSG doesn't have anything to do necessarily with the plugins. That's all volunteer player created, which is crazy. Okay, so company says, question about character playing music in streams. Does Twitch hit you with a copyrights violation, which by the way is not a violation since you made a mashup or a cover according to my lore of that regulation? When I'm playing Lotro on the Lotro stream channel, there's no copyright violation there because I'm playing their game on their channel. When I'm playing, I think if I were to play Lotro on my Twitch channel, I think it's okay. Not 100% sure there. I always err on the side of caution. For example, on my stream, I have an little intro video to kind of like be like, hey, we're getting ready, grab your cup of coffee, you know, that whole business. And it's music from inside the game. And then I have an outro with the same music. And it's music from the game. But I did go ahead and reach out to to Chance Thomas, who is the composer of that music, just to say, hey, are you okay if I use this music during my Lotro streaming of your music from inside Lotro? He was like, yes, absolutely. So I went ahead and got permission, even though I didn't need to. Yeah. I'm afraid I'm not a copyright lawyer. Yeah. Oh, you're in an argument with YouTube over that topic. Oh my gosh, don't even YouTube. Yeah, yeah. So the funny thing is I'd want to do a stream for my Dutch business side, and I want to talk about Eurovision because that's such a big European thing. And I want to play clips of the music, and I'm trying to find information about how much of a clip can I play? Can I play anything? Can I show a picture? Like, what am I allowed to do? And I'm not even 100% sure there. I might be able to show somebody else's websites, like just have it up on the screen for a minute. I'm not even sure, right? So, but yes, always good to have it in writing if Twitch, you know, to challenge you, of course. So what I'm doing, I'm in the Thirsty Seer, which is one of the pubs here in Minas Tirith, and that is on, the Sages tier, which is the 5th tier. And this is where we find barrel number 4 for What Ails You. So we're gonna go ahead and pick that up. And then we're going to leave. So where we are standing, there's usually a guy when you first come here. He's got like a half cape on, and he's kind of standing around like he's not really sure where he's supposed to be. And that's the corner that you're looking for. And basically we want to go diagonally back to the entrance. So we can either go right and then left, or we can go left and then right. But it takes us the same way. Oh, here's Lost Dude. So you see he's got kind of a cape hanging down his back. That's the NPC you're looking for to show you that you're in the right corner. So here we're gonna go straight and turn left to get back to the door. This is a really cool place though, so if you haven't been inside this building, the Thirsty Seer, it goes on and on and on. It's really kind of cool inside there. Yes, cite the law as it is written, right? I just try to avoid getting into trouble. It's like, oh. Well, thanks, Moobot. Moobot says, the Lotro market is a way to purchase current and previous expansions through the web. The items will be delivered automatically to your account. Now, you can't buy stuff for other people anymore because you have to log into your account, and then you buy the thing, and then it's automatically delivered to your account, which is pretty awesome. But you cannot buy stuff for other people anymore, which is a bummer. Capody says, however, the rules of the channel might try to override the rules of law, and that's the right as owners of the channel. Yeah, so I just try to not cause trouble. Okay, so now I'm in the Houses of Lore. So I came out of the Thirsty Seer, went down the stairs, and off on my left was a building, and I've gone inside here, and I've got a couple things to do. So there is 4 floral arrangements here, and then there's 2 more upstairs. So that is arranging arrangements, I think, that I'm working on. Oh no, that's something floral. Arranging arrangements is a different flower one. There's a couple of floral bobbity bobs here. So, all right, so I believe I've been streaming for roughly 2 hours. So I'm gonna work on wrapping up in the next 20 minutes. And B4 will follow me. And it looks like he is back from his meeting. So yes, I'll just, yeah, I don't have enough knowledge, solid knowledge on copyright law that I don't want to advise at all on that, really. I can just tell you what I did, which is I'm using music from the game to introduce the game on a channel that belongs to the makers of the game, and I still went and got permission just to be safe. And then of course, we have a conversation for the streamers. We have a little Slack channel for that sort of thing, and it came up in there just in general, not in relation to me, but about how, like, yes, you can use the music for the game in your stream on the channel and stuff like that, but still, I'm like, I just rather be covered. Okay, so in this building there is also, I just did the flowers, that finished off that thing. And then I have that quest I can go and turn in. There's this guy here, Caladan. He's a Muppet, man. But anyway, so he's got love letter. He was writing a poem. He's terrible. And he lost the papers because somebody opened a window and the papers went flying. Basically, the person who opened the window is the person he's trying to write the love letters about, because she was like, give me a break, dude. Or maybe she was playing a prank on him. Maybe she thinks he's cute. I don't know. Anyway, so he wants you to run around and find his papers. I don't think we're not gonna bother with him today. He can start writing over again tomorrow. So now I should go back out and run down the stairs, which are over there, but I often just come back here and face that dwarf and jump down and take the falling damage. So yes, Caladan's having a rough time. Okay, and then in my little blog post about where to find things in the Midsummer area, I also included like where you place the firefly lanterns if you were doing that quest in the middle of this. Because we're not doing the firefly lanterns, I can just ignore that. Okay, so now we've done or ignored Love is in the Air. We did the final barrel for What Ails You. We did something floral. So now my notes say go back up the ramp. So the cool thing is Minas Tirith, again, remember it's a defensible city. And so the lower tiers are really long, but that's good, right? If you have an army coming in, you don't want them to be able to get up to the top very easily. So they have to go way around to find a ramp that takes them up. But then if they want a ramp to get to the next one, they go all the way to here to find a ramp, and then all the way to the other side to find a ramp. And so that's what you end up doing in the city, is going back and forth, right? But because the rings are getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller as we get closer and closer to the top, getting from one end to the other goes a lot faster. So we're here and our ramp is really close by. Now, I know it's not completely easy to see, but if you're looking at this map of Minas Tirith, you'll see there's this stripe on here where it's lighter and it's solid and it's lighter color than the stuff around it. So that's the ramp that you're looking for. Also, there'll be a stable master at one end or the other, but it's not always clear to be able to tell like what is in this interesting and cool looking graphic. Like, where does one tier end and where's, like, is this the tier, or is it here? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? Like, where's the circle? So that is a ramp with a stable master at the top. This is a ramp from the bottom to the stable master at the top there. This is a ramp that circles back. Capodi, I think it was Caladan that we were talking, that was inside that the houses of in the houses of lore. Anyway, so I'm gonna go up this ramp, and the cool thing is the next ramp is right there, so it's not far. Yeah, we go broke as we ride the stable horses. I know, right? I do take the stable masters a lot. So, but the ramp is right here. I mean, I just go up the ramp this time. I don't need to teleport down to the bottom and take the ramp back up. You know what this town doesn't have? Let me tell you. It doesn't have a hunter fireplace anywhere that I know of. Their city was just attacked. They need the silver coins. That's right. Tourism at its best. Come spend your money for our reconstruction. That'll be great. Let's do that. Okay, so on this tier, there are a couple of things. There's the House of Remedies over here. I think that's we popped into there so I could show you the NPC emoting thing. Let's see. So this is crazy. We have the Houses of Healing High Hall, and then we have the Houses of Healing House of Remedies. Okay, so those are two different things we could do. So the House of Remedies, that's the one where you're honoring the healers. So you go in, you find the 5 or so different healers, 6, and you give them the thank you note, and they're like, oh, that's very kind. Thank you so much. I do this work for the love of it. I don't do it for the accolades. But it's nice, to go and appreciate them. So then you go back to the postmaster on 3 to turn that back in. So that's a good one for do it one day, turn it in another day, right? Unless you're trying to max out your tokens, in which case do everything on the way up, go turn everything in, get all the tokens, like go nuts. Spend all your money. No, it's not that bad. Like if I were to turn in like this quest, I would get 23 silver and 10 copper. Like I guess I can afford to spend the silver to take the horse. Let's see. Capodi, did I miss you talking about the honor monuments around the festival? You're talking about like these things here? Like this guy, this King Arendil, son of Kemendur, like those? They don't count. Okay, yes. Yes, I'm pretty sure Midsummer Festival version of Minas Tirith, that those don't count. I think you have to do it during one of the other normal landscape versions of Minas Tirith. So, yeah. Also, that's a good one to have a list and check it off as you go so you'll know which one you missed. Because you'll probably miss one. That one, and because we did this once with our, we have like 130 level characters, or they were when the cap was 130, over on Evernight. Yeah, before had a list, and I just followed him around. It was great. Before it says, we're rebuilding the walls of Minas Tirith, and you can help. For only 50 gold, you can sponsor a stone in the wall. We'll engrave your name on it, and all the land will know of your generosity. I said, I'm a sucker for a bad deal. Count me in. So it's really funny because we actually were at a monastery. We went and visited a monastery recently, and I have a feeling that's where you got this idea. It's like the oldest inhabited, unending inhabited monastery in the Netherlands. Somebody's been living there since 1371. Yeah. So anyway, so they have a wall. They have a wall around the area of the monastery, but it is falling apart, and you can donate, and they'll put add a piece of the wall in your honor, I guess. So it's really cool because they've got this guy, this monk, holding this brick here, and as an illustration of here's what we need to do. And so there's a huge display at the monastery. This is outside, like a billboard looking thing, with that picture on it. And so I stood kind of like, when people stand by the Eiffel Tower or whatever, and they're like, way in front of it, like as if they're squishing it or something. So I stood next to him, and I was like, as if I was holding the brick with him. It was great. Was that Rochester Castle Keep red? What? I'm red. Oh. Before is gonna do things and stuff. This is, what's the name of the monastery? Oh, Red, it does say red. Red de Oude Kloostermuren. Anyway, yes, you are red. I am red. Was that Rochester Castle Keep? No, it's a cloister. What is the name? Oh, before it's getting you the name. Okay, so in this hall that we just walked into, we can go up to the top of the stairs and talk to this lady, Irith, and she basically is like, hey, this is a place of rest, but we've got people like these noisy revelers here who will not keep it down, and we've got like all these bottles laying around. Can you pick this stuff up? Like this bottle over here. And so you go and tidy up, and you tell the revelers to shush. And that's another quest, and it auto-completes in there. So that's another way you could get more tokens, do another quest. Takes a few minutes. There we go, thank you. Cloister Sint Agatha in Dutch. So Saint Agatha. It was here not too far from Nijmegen. So you might not have heard of that city, but yes, St. Agatha Convent. It's not a convent, that's for nuns. Cloister, I think it would be in English. Because a convent is for nuns. Monastery, yes. Okay, you did say that. It's a monastery. Oh, Google Maps calls it a convent. Yeah, but it's a monastery. It's a monk's house. There's only 4 monks that live there now. Apparently, I don't know, monkage. The amount of monks who are doing stuff, at least in the Netherlands, maybe worldwide, I don't know, is kind of like decreasing. So if you know anybody who is like really interested in moving to the Netherlands and they're very religious and they want to be a monk or they already are, they may be taking, I think, I asked the guy about this. There was like a tour guide, information guy. So if you know anybody who wants to move to the Netherlands and is looking for a way to do that and they're interested in being a monk, tell them to check out St. Agatha's Monastery. I bet they could do it. Because, there's only 4 monks left there now. Like, one from the Netherlands, one from Belgium, one from, it wasn't South Africa, but somewhere from the continent of Africa. I don't think it was South Africa. And one from Poland or Indonesia. No, anyway, they're from all over the place. It's really cool. Okay. And okay, so I have finished theoretically all the things that I'm going to do. So it is time to go up to the top because I am at 8 out of 10 of those daily quests that I want to do. So I'm going to go and turn in 2 of these, but I'm going to hang on to the others so that way I make it go a lot faster for myself tomorrow. Probably turn in the barrels. Well, I don't know. We'll see. What have we got here? So let's turn in something floral. Sure. Oh, you know what? Let's turn in the food one because that one doesn't take too long to do. That one's easy peasy. So I don't mind doing that one again tomorrow. Okay, so now I have done 10 out of 10 festival activities. I'm not going to turn in the other ones. So now I need to go talk to Phaelith down on the ground. So I'm going to take my milestone and go do that. So you are building the castle, and that's located in Kent. I'm guessing you're doing that like in a Minecraft or something. And looks like you have another build to research now. Yeah, it was fascinating. The monastery was really cool. Oh, there's no pictures on it here, but we have. Hang on. This is the illustration of the main building. So like you come in and they have like a information area here, and then they've got different things going on here, and then the big church here where like if you make a noise it like echoes a bit, and it seems like you could like harmonize amazingly well in there. So that's the main building, but then it doesn't have a picture of the rest of it. This is just one building, and the whole like compound's not a great word, but the whole area had like a whole bunch of outbuildings, and there's like the stables area, and there's where people park their bicycles. Does it say when it was founded? They've had people living there nonstop since 1371, so I think that's when it was founded also. Yeah, let's see. Do you need a website? Here, I'll tell you what. I will type in. Did he put the website information, a link there? I'll type in a website link for you during his stream. That way I can do that when I'm not streaming, okay? That'll be easier. I'll just type it in for you. Then you can look up their stuff. Now, it's probably in Dutch, but you can just like do translate on your computer, and a lot of times it comes out pretty good. Okay, do I have 3 fishing rods, says Real Tough. Sort of. I'm really bad at clicking things sometimes accurately, and fishing, you gotta be on time. Like there's no hesitation there. And so I have 3 of them in a row, and it's the fishing action. So if I just hit something, if I'm close, it does it. So that's why I have 3 of those there. You know, it's all about like learning where your, learning your strengths and how to use them well, and learning where your weaknesses are and how to accommodate for them. So me with my lack of clicking accurately, this is how I accommodate that. Okay, so I'm going to turn this in to Phalith. So let's turn this in. All right, she's like, very good. I hope you're enjoying our festivities for Midsummer. Do you want to start your 5-minute timer? And she says, as a small token of thanks for sharing in our celebration, allow me to offer you this gift. Join us again tomorrow, won't you? Okay, so we'll finish that. And so now I have done one of the 3 for the wrapper to finish that, which will give me all those goodies and the 1,000 virtue experience and all of that. Okay, so I think that kind of wraps up here. Oh, I was going to show you one more thing. I'm just going to pop out there, but we won't go through the whole thing because that way, oh, and I'd have to wait for a minute and a half anyway. I'll tell you what, okay, so next time, because we still have the festival going on next week, right? Oh, I should double check that. Not there. In my character, in my biography, I didn't do it on this character. I gotta fix it. I usually try to put in my biography on my characters what the schedule is of Lotro events because it makes it easy. I just look there. So let me see, but I have it listed here because I can just copy and paste it into my characters. Midsummer ends July 11th. Cool. So we do definitely have another week. So next week, I'll try to remember to show you all the festival activities that are outside of Minas Tirith. So we can go do the 2 that are for the elves in Erdluin, the 2 up north for the dwarves in Erdluin, the 2 at the party tree, they're for the that the hobbits are doing, and then the 2 in Bree. And we did those last time too, but I'm happy to show you those again too. Okay, so thanks, Moobot. So there's the schedule of all the people who stream on this channel. If you click on that, it does show you a link with one of our social medias. So if we have multiples, it just picks one. And then there's the link with all the Midsummer Festival guides and such. Okay, so yes, Capo D, stick around, and once I've hit the toilet and stuff, I'll be back and I will type in the website link for the Cloister St. Agatha for you. And that way you can have more information. It was really cool. It was neat. And they've got like this cute little cafeteria as we sat. We had some coffee and tea, and it's all volunteers that are there, and we had this great guide, and they've got one of those like tables where like all the little buildings are miniature and he can point at things. And, oh yeah, it was delightful. It was a really great time. So, okay, so I think before we'll be ready to start here in, what, like 3 minutes? Or are you ready now? Ready now? Sweet. Oh, okay, 2.5. 2.5 minutes. All right, so what's that? All right, so any last minute questions for me before I sign off? And I will take a look here. I think I will go ahead and close the closed captioning unless somebody is wanting to see that before we finish. Oh, and before it's gone ahead and posted that link for you there, Capo D. Built in 1647 to 1649. Okay, yep, and then he included my speedy completionist guide that we were just following during the stream today. All right, well, I don't see any last minute questions, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. So I'll be back next week, same time, so 11:30 Eastern time in the morning, 11:30 a.m. on Tuesdays, and then 11:30, so 12:30, 1:30, so somewhere between 1:30 and 2 before starts on Tuesdays. And then, so what time do you normally start then for Rills?
It's 2 p.m.
2. So 2 to 4 p.m. is his normal time. So then starting at 4 p.m. today will be I7 doing some deed completionist. So you've got like a whole day of Lotro if you want to chill out. So every Tuesday we'll be here. Come and hang out. It's a great time. Some days we get beautiful weather like this. Some days it's, especially in the winter, it'll be dark, but we'll have all the lights on, so you'll be fine. We can all hang out together. It's wonderful. All right. What server? I'm on Treebeard. I tend to play on Treebeard, and I think I have it at the top. Yeah, at the top of the screen there. It is a legendary server, and Before can explain a little bit more about that during his stream in like a minute. Yeah? Okay. All right. I'm going to go. Thank you all for coming along here, and we will see you guys next week. Hopefully, I'll see you in a couple minutes. In the meantime, always remember to stay connected to that Hobbit side of your heart. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye now.